Welcome to Difficult Conversation Africa broadcast. I present to you the host, Yinka Olaito, a media communications development expert, author with about 2 decades experience in Africa and in the United States.
Welcome to Difficult Conversation Africa podcast. My name is Yinka Olaito. On Difficult Conversation African podcast, we discuss issues many are afraid to discuss and which are pivotal to development across Africa. In this episode, what we'll be looking at is very important to us, which is Ghana development and young women participation. And as usual, before we commence the conversation and before I introduce my guest, I always give you the background of what we are trying to do in this episode, because each episode is unique and they're focused on different topics. Today we are looking at Ghana development and young men participation. Ghana has shown significant economic growth and development, particularly in recent years, with a focus on diversifying its own economy beyond the traditional agricultural sector like cocoa and towards manufacturing service and the extractive industry. Ghana has achieved middle income status, though the country faces challenges related to inequality, job creation, and ensuring inclusive growth. Young women in Ghana play a crucial role in the country development, and they are contributing significantly into various sectors like agriculture, education, and entrepreneurship. Young women are also important to this Ghana development because they serve as agents of social change and social development. And they have sped up a lot of activities in the area of advocating for positive changes in health, education, and overall social well-being. Women empowerment is essential for a major inclusive equity feature of Ghana. Today, as we look at Ghana development and young women role, I have a guest, a young and enterprising guest that I'm so proud of, whose name is Jennifer Amboli. Jennifer Amboli is an award-winning Ghana journalist with expertise in health, environment, technology reporting with over 5 years experience. Jennifer currently conducts in-depth research, writes investigative story, and covers pressing issues related to public health, business, and technology. We're proud that she had won several awards and had featured in different international conferences. She was one of the 30 under 30 AIJC delegates last year, 2024. Her exceptional work, which focuses on diabetes and hypertension, got her recognition award in 2023 under the West Africa More Than a Mother for 2024. She was nominated for an African Print Journalist of the Year as the Lady in Media Award 2023. She's a multi-fellowship recipient, including the Digital Public Infrastructure Journalism Fellowship and many others. She has strengthened her expertise in impactful storytelling. Through her journalism, she continued to shape public policy in Ghana and across Africa. So, welcome, Jennifer Amboli, to the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and a good afternoon to all your viewers. Thank you for having me on your show. It's such an honor.
Thank you, Jennifer, and welcome to the show. So we go straight to the question. Number one, which area did you think Ghana has made significant progress, and how has young women been involved in this area?
Okay.
First of all, opinion.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for this question. Ghana has made significant impacts or progress in the country. And, the government is also putting a lot of measures in place when it comes to progress or development and young women's contribution. We can talk about the YEA, which is the Youth Employment Agency, which over the years has rolled out training and job placement for the youth, especially women. So now we can talk about jobs that women previously were not involved, like maybe construction, agriculture, and all that. But today, thanks to the YEA, young women are participating actively in these opportunities, and they are getting very good job placement in the country. We can also talk about the National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program, where a lot of youth are involved, especially the women who are also doing really, really amazing. So they get to pitch their ideas, they get funding support, they get mentorship to roll out their ideas or their businesses. So yeah, they are doing very well. And another thing too is the rollout of the free senior high school by the previous government. Previously the number of men or young men in school were more than the women. But then since the introduction of the free senior high school, now we have a lot of young girls who have now gotten the opportunity to go to school. And I think it's a very commendable initiative that we barely talk about. And I think we have to talk about it more because the government is really doing well when it comes to this area.
I'm so impressed about the Ghana initiative and the development that is going on. And I'm so happy that girls are being enrolled more in school, because some of the challenges with African country has always been inequality, lack of access to education, and many other. So it's a sharing news to hear from you and somebody who is based in Ghana, a young lady, a young professional like you, saying that initiative is really, really engaging a lot of young women. And I think that has really helped Ghana, because the involvement of young women is being noticed in their contribution to Ghana development as large. So the second thing I would like you to speak to is in public accountability of fund and system management. Young women like you have been focal. What significant changes have you seen that have been product of your work and contribution? I mean that in terms of accountability, in terms of efficiency of government funding and its application. I know that as a journalist like you are and many other young women, they've been holding government accountable, raising issues where they find issues of misappropriation on lack of adequate attention. So I'm saying that in that area, what are the significant changes that you, part of the work you have done, maybe with regards to women empowerment, some of the places where you've gotten award, how have those some of these works that you have done contributed to raising accountability and holding government to be more on their toe as a journalist?
Well, first of all, I'll say young women, including myself, we've been very vocal on issues of transparency, especially in the areas of funding, the environment, and gender issues. I remember this particular story I did about a school which was in a very terrible condition. I mean, their roofs were peeling off. The classrooms were literally flooded. There were not enough desks for the students, including girls, obviously. And when I did this story, I think a few days after the story, I called the school and I found out that some government officials had visited and other NGOs had also visited the school. And as I speak now, all these issues have been resolved. And I am not doing the work alone. I mean,
you can share the progress made by other young women that you know, but we are happy to hear your own.
Yes, I mean, I have other colleagues who have also been doing amazing. There is one particular story so now it's anytime I read a story, I feel so happy. So it was about a young girl who was sacked from school, a senior high school, because she was pregnant.
Wow.
Yes, she was sacked from school. The headmistress, funny enough, the leader of the school, the headmaster or the headmistress is a woman. So if you a woman, you sack a young girl from school because she's pregnant. That is very wrong because sometimes we do not know.
No, well, we may say they have a rule with regards to morality and all that, but let me hear you.
Yes, but this is the case where the child was raped with no.
So it's better to create the context for what we're talking.
Say again.
I say it's better to create the context so that
Yes.
she was raped. That's a
Yes.
good context around,
Yes.
all right.
Yes. So if with no fault of hers, you have to sack her from school, then I think that's really not fair. And I mean, after my colleague did that publication, she was immediately returned to the school. And as
Okay,
I
you
speak, she
recall
was
back,
able to
okay.
write her WASI, and she's done with senior high
school now.
junior high school. Yes, she's done with the school now. So apart from these two, there are other colleagues who are doing amazing work when it comes to accountability. You know, for some time now, we have been advocating for the need for government or Ghana to have our public health emergency funds, because it's very important in areas of health. And you know, when we are talking about health, we cannot leave out maternal mortality or maternal health. So if we are going to progress as a country and take women into consideration, I mean young women into consideration, these are some of the things that we need to prioritize and take very, very serious if we really want to progress, because all the time it's always the men we prioritize. All the time. And you know this girl,
because even if she was not raped, even if she was not raped, the guy will still be in school, and nobody will do anything about him.
Yes, but we have to.
But I think that's a conversation we must begin to raise again too, with regard to equity in that area, because we cannot only be preaching morality with one hand.
Yeah.
But our case is unique because she was raped. So I'm listening.
Yeah. So the man will be somewhere living his own life, and we have to bear the consequence of actions that maybe we can partly take the blame, but I feel we have to be fair when it comes to dealing with both genders. So yeah, we've been very vocal and we haven't stopped. We are still advocating for fair treatment when it comes to genders. I mean, you can even see that government is also trying. We have a vice president who is also a woman, so it's a good start, and we know that gradually we'll get somewhere with it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy that young women like you are raising issues and you are going anti-cultural, because the issue of the young lady that was raped, it's a different thing. But people will have kept quiet and said, why was she allowed herself to be raped and all that thing? But I think that's a landmark change that you and your young people, your young women professional like you in Ghana are making. That's why the pivotal role of young women in Ghana, almost in Africa. Ghana continue to struggle with, like other nations, in bridging the gender gap and equal opportunity. How is that? What are your thoughts on this, and what are you thinking what are the things that young men like you are doing in Ghana to ensure that the gender gap is continuing to be bridged, and then equity continue to be something that you are advocating for?
Yeah, so I'll begin by saying, unfortunately, that's the reality. Despite all the amazing work young women are doing, the gender gap is still very real in the country. Just like any other African country, whether it's access to education, leadership roles, like all areas or all sectors, there's still that gender bias over there. So that is why we keep advocating, because it's very important to us. So for me, let me talk about using journalism to advocate for these things.
When we write these stories, and raise your voices,
Yeah, when we write these stories, to us, they are not just stories. We are actually advocating for a narrative shift in terms of these issues. We focus on telling
I like the word.
stories of women and girls who are usually usually left out of national conversations. I
Yeah.
did a about even before I did that story, I think it was circulating and other countries heard about it, about a young girl, I think she was 13, who was married to a man who is like 3 times her age. And
Wow.
we're told that is tradition. Yes, we know there's tradition and all of those blah, blah, blahs. But I think it's very important for them to prioritize her education first. When she's done
And
with
even our
school,
health. Even our health.
yes, and health too. When she's done with school and maybe she gets to her age where she can marry, she should be given the privilege to choose whoever she wants to
To
marry.
make a choice.
No, not because of some tradition. So she has to be forced to marry a man who is like 3 or 4 times her age. That is really, really wrong.
The issue is not about her age. It's whether I think that the issue we must raise is the fact that she's still a minor.
Yeah, very, very
If
true.
she has become an adult, she can make that decision and choose who to marry. But 13 is still a minor by the law.
So these are stories we continue to tell all the time. And that is why I even established my foundation. When we also talk about the health of young girls, most of the time we make a lot of noise and little efforts are made. So through my work, I decided to establish a foundation where we can also prioritize the health of these young girls in marginalized communities, especially.
So you can step up conversation.
Left out. Say again.
Yeah. So that they are not left out and
exactly.
The conversation continue to be mainstream.
Yes. So, and I can also talk about the recent Affirmative Action Act, which was which has been accepted by the government because this act talks about women involvement, where women should also be prioritized when it comes to positions like leadership roles in government. And I think I've seen governments doing that. We've seen a lot of women holding public or government positions in this new government. Yeah, and I think it's a good start because that's what
you now have a vice president as a lady.
Say again.
That you now have a vice president that is a lady.
Exactly. But then we cannot stop there. There's a lot to be done if we really want fair opportunities for women as
everyone.
well. So we are still doing our best, I would say. We are still trying so hard.
Like every other nation, we keep doing our best and we keep.
We are trying. We are trying because we cannot leave all the way. We have to also be there and show that we can also do it. So
I get you.
So far so good.
So as a young woman in the journalism space, with keen interest in maternal health, climate change, etc., what has been your most impactful memories and that of your colleague that are clearly shaping Ghana development? I appreciate the one that you talk about setting up something for girls on the area of their health. But what are other impactful? So I like the one that you said about a school holding government accountable to that school that has become a rundown. So what are some of the impactful stories and changes that your work had made and you are proud of that you would like to share with audience?
Okay, so first of all, young women's progress, especially in the media, has been very instrumental. Now people are using social media too as well, and we are using journalism to promote a lot of things, to advocate a lot of things. When it comes to maternal health, before I even talk about my story, when you come to the northern part of Ghana, it is one of the huge challenges they face. Yes, so we've reported on stories where we are recording a high number of maternal mortality because of bad roads or because the clinics or hospitals are very far.
Infrastructural shortages.
Yes. So there was this story, I think it was done by Joy News. After they aired that story, government made sure that road was fixed. And since then, it has reduced the number of maternity maternity mortality they record. And also there was a story I did about a young girl who could not go to school because she couldn't afford sanitary pad, and she went to school, she stained herself, and she was being stigmatized by her colleagues.
Yeah.
This story, a lot of NGOs reached out to me, and they even wanted to help other girls in that school.
That's fantastic.
So even though this initiative wasn't carried out by government, I mean, NGOs also, or private organizations also contribute to development.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is important.
Yes. I was very happy because you have no idea how happy you
Of
made
the
this young
changes
girl.
and the changes that you have made in the life of that young lady.
Yes, yes. And I think we've been advocating for this free sanitary pad or affordable sanitary pad for a very long time, that the current government has decided to offer free sanitary pad to girls in junior high school and senior high schools. It was part
That's
of the
progress.
budget that was read.
That's
So
progress. That's progress.
Yes, yes. So
I'm
it's
proud of
clear
your work and
you
young
can
women
see
like
that.
you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. It's clear you can see that something is really happening. We are not just making noise. We are not just advocating.
But at least you are seeing a bit of research.
Yes,
Even
yes,
though it's still a long way to freedom, but at least something is shifting.
yes, yes. And that is all we are saying. We want to be heard. We want to feel that, okay, our voices are also heard. They are taking us into consideration. It makes us happy, and it makes us want to do more of what we are doing.
That's fine. And thank you. Thank you for people like you, young ladies like you in Ghana. A report had claimed that Ghana women form over 70% of entrepreneurs involved in micro entrepreneur and small scale businesses. So that is contributing a huge amount to the national income. What are the factors responsible for this? Will you agree that the Ghana matriarchal system hate this?
Yeah, this statistics does not surprise me at all, because in Ghana, women are really the backbone of this micro and
Of the
small scale
family,
businesses.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
The family and this micro, okay. I'm listening.
Yeah, when you go to the market, most of the people who are selling are women. They are mostly involved in trading, like food businesses, hairdressing, tailoring, and so on. Now, there are a few reasons why this is the case. First, it's part of culture. In some parts of Ghana, especially in the Akan, we have the matrilineal system, which means inheritance and family identity pass through the mother's side.
The women. Okay.
So it's naturally give women like a role in household and even community decision making. So yes, I would say the system has definitely helped in empowering women economically, especially in the Ashanti region. But it's not just traditional. When it comes down to the necessity, I would say formal jobs are not always.
That's really another part. Necessity.
Yeah.
That's why they say necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, formal jobs are not always available, especially for women. So many turn into entrepreneurship. You understand? In order to take care of the family. They don't want to be waiting for big capitals in order to start a business. So they are able to sell something. Someone can get a small table and just put some small goods on it.
At least so to generate a little income and contribute to the family income or national income.
Yes. So that's the spirit of Ghanaian women. We are very resilient and resourceful. We do not wait to get something big to start a business. When you go to the market, you see people with very small goods. They are selling. They are able to help their family with what they are doing. So, and you also find out that a lot of women do not rely on you find out that a lot of women rather rely on the informal financial support system, like savings and loans,
cooperatives.
Yes. So it's not like they are just doing businesses. They are actually contributing to something in the
Okay.
community. So whatever statistics you read or heard is not a lie. It's very true. And as a young woman, I'm very proud of it that we are really doing well in this micro. We have to start small, then we get to the top. So
That's
that's the
fine.
way to go.
I must commend Ghana women and young women for leading the microeconomic sector. Let's go to the next question, Jennifer. There's this concern because I know that now, thank God that you said you are involved in young girl health and reproductive. Despite Ghana abortion law of 1985, unsafe abortion remains a major public problem and is a leading cause of maternal death, according to a report in the country. Some of your past work had raised concern about maternal mortality challenges. What has changed after you started reporting this?
So, first of all, I would say, despite the abortion law in the country, we only allow abortion or safe abortion under specific conditions like rape, or maybe
Okay.
the child may pose some health issues to the mother. Apart
Okay.
from that, it's still unsafe to do abortion. Like, you just decide to just abort the baby, and we still have this stigma around it, which makes it difficult for people to seek legal abortion, and instead they want to do the ones behind doors, which normally result in serious
Sometimes that is
health
complications.
issues, yes, or even deaths for some cases.
Mm.
So we continue to advocate for affordable contraceptives for women, so that if they do not want to lose their
To
life through
retain the baby,
abortion, they can even
all
take it
the
at all.
if they actually want to get rid of the baby,
Exactly.
and they feel they are not prepared, they can have the option, right?
Yeah. Apart
Okay.
from the stigma surrounding it, it's morally not right to. So I wouldn't want to talk about it too much for it to look like
I quite
I'm
understand. I quite
advocating,
understand.
advocating
I quite
for it.
understand.
But I
But
think
at least
we
a safer way of retaining life and reduce loss of life. It's fine that way. The moral issue is there, but if you choose to go that way, you shouldn't go through it and die. Okay, let's go to a more comfortable question for you, and that will be the last question. Young women in Ghana continue to face significant worse working condition. So we're talking about the equity in work and gender pay now. Condition, limited opportunity for career advancement, and a lack of access to critical resources, maybe finance and all that. How are young women pushing to remove all these barriers to ensure that young women, can have access to equal job opportunity, reduce the gender pay gaps, and all the associated issues?
Okay, so that is very true. When it comes to Ghana, young women in Ghana, we face a lot of challenges when it comes to work and leadership. We are often struggling with either low pay or like career goals or positions when it comes to our workplace. But the truth is, we are not just sitting back. We are actively pushing for a change. For me, as a journalist and an advocate, I use storytelling to spotlight these issues, whether it's about girls
And
forced
call for a
into
changing the narratives.
yes, whether it's about girls forced into early marriages or young women who are really hustling to grow their small businesses. I try to use my platform to raise awareness, and I know I'm not alone. There are lots of young women who are also advocating for this, especially through social media, like maybe TikTok, Twitter Space, podcasts. Now there are lots of podcasts where they talk about these things. And I mean, they try to speak and create opportunities for young girls. And honestly, the major step in the affirmative action act I'll also talk about again is also giving us the courage and the hope that, oh, the
Yeah,
story
it
is
serves
going to
as an
change their life
enabling
too.
platform to ride on.
Yes. it's like I said earlier, it mandates that women must occupy at least 30% of decision-making positions in public institutions. And I mean, I wish that number could even rise to like 50%,
But yeah, but I know that that's an average passion of every woman. But let's first of all achieve the 35, because that's always has been the problem. You can have an affirmation of 35 and you are not yet there. So it's good that at least first of all strive for the 35, and then we can talk more about that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because of that, previously you barely see women trying to even vie for positions. Because at the end of the day, you fight for all these things, and there is no hope that you even get it. They're always looking down upon us and all that. But I think because of the affirmative action acts now, there is some sort of
People are making
motivation.
demand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
to
make
make
demand.
Yes, to
And to
try
step
harder.
to step
Well,
to the stage. To
Yes,
to
step
step
up.
up.
Okay,
Okay,
for
for
the
the
position.
position.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer and Bolly. I really appreciate. Okay, your final thought. You are
okay,
sharing
I want to
something.
just say that yes, we still face barriers, but then we are still finding ways around them
Around it.
to
Okay.
yes, because
Yes.
if we don't talk about gender equality, no one should come for me. I'm not talking about women should be born and I just
No, I
want equal
know.
opportunity. We should be
Be
recognized. We should be given
yeah.
opportunities because we have a lot of women who are very capable, but just because
Yeah.
they're women, they are not being given certain opportunities in life, which I think is
Okay,
not
to
even
stand up
fair.
for the all right.
Yes,
That's true.
so that's what I would say.
Thank you, Jennifer and Bolly, and I really appreciate your thought. You're a young woman that is doing a great job. We're proud of you. So happy to be hearing good things about you, about the awards and all those things, recognition of the month by several platforms. So happy to be related to you, and thank you for being one of our ex fellows in another area of our work where we work to strengthen young people, journalists, broadcasters across Africa. I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for enlightening our viewers and listeners across Africa about Ghana development, the role that young women like you are playing. And I challenge you to continue to be the best that you are created to be. I challenge other young women in Ghana to push forward, and particularly with this enabling affirmation action of 35%. I believe that if you begin to make that and mainstream that, things will change. Thank you, our listener. We want to say thank you for watching this episode. Thank you for always giving us feedback. We will always expect to read your feedback, and please communicate with us through the existing channel, X, Facebook, and our official website, which is www.difficultconversationafrica.org, and many other platforms that are available. You can also send us an email, info@difficultconversationafrica.org. We want to say thank you. Thank you for always being there for us, and stay tuned until next episode. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. For inquiry, please send an email to info@difficultconversationafrica.org. Telephone 0809 591. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Difficult Conversation Africa. See you soon.